Just when you thought all hope was lost, Fabian Alvarez, the writer and director that brought us both the Evil Dead reboot and the Don't Breathe films for both, which I will admit were critically acclaimed, now comes to us with another rebooted sequel to a franchise that never gets tired of doing. This is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Streaming exclusively on Netflix, this film takes place nearly 50 years after the events of the first film, where a group of young influencers purchase a small ghost town in Harlow, Texas, with little do they know that the infamous killer, Leatherface, is residing there and goes on a vengeful rampage after the group was accidentally responsible for the death of his caretaker. But could this finally be the sequel that we've been waiting for? After 3 bad sequels, a reboot, a prequel to the reboot, and then a rebooted sequel to the original, and then a prequel to the original? Try saying that 3 times fast. But wait, could this finally be it? Their last saves from the depths of damnation. Their last bootstrap yet to be pulled up. Nah, I'm just being dramatic. Let's see how they did. This is what you do. This is what you do. This is what you fucking do? I don't even know what's more of a massacre. The amount of people that die in this movie or this franchise's reputation, because this movie just plainly straight up sucked. Now, I love the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre from Tobe Hooper. The atmosphere was disturbing. Parts of the shot was like in the form of a documentary, and it terrified audiences with the usage of its violence it had at the time. Not to only becoming one of my favorite slasher films, but in my top 10 greatest horror films of all time. This last film, well, everything besides the second film, it was pretty much close to the original. There was nothing really different. It's also taken too many story beats that it's had from other slasher films, new and old, such as it being a requel like how it was in Scream back in January, or giving Sally Hardesty a motivation just like Laurie Strode in Halloween 2018, that being the main character from the original films now on a hell-bent suicide mission to kill their respective slasher. Now really, it is a blessing to have good or at least serviceable main characters to be in this movie, but the star of the show is obviously the murderer killing psychopath with a chainsaw and his murdering ways. The problem was Leatherface's design looked horrible. I mean, just get a good glimpse of this. He looks like some kind of damn pork and barbecue sauce on his face. It doesn't even look like him. Like hell, this actually makes me appreciate the Michael Bay version, and at least that one wasn't actually distracting. But that's not the worst part. But really, spoilers just in case. But then again, I really shouldn't care about this because the movie sucked anyways. They show his face within the first act of the movie. And then they put on, and once he puts on his Leatherface mask, and then the camera pans away like as though we've never seen his face ever at all in this film. Like, really? Like, what was the point of that? This film is not scary at all. It suffers from the typical one-dimensional characters that we never give a crap about. And also there are the tropes of hiding underneath the bed or the closet away from the killer, yada yada yada. You pretty much know where I'm going with this. Oh, and the dialogue in here is atrocious. Like, it is just a slug to get through. She's the cook, I'm the cook, and this is my future wife. Just say fiance, man. Just say fiance. It's not that hard. Now, I do appreciate the fact that they do use modern day technology, like when Leatherface pops up in the bus and then they all pull up their phones, but then they give off this character who says one stupid line. He's like saying like, oh, you do anything, you're canceled, bro. Like, really? That's gonna be your initial reaction when there's a guy that's wearing a mask full of skin and there's a fucking chainsaw coming at you. Well, you got your franchise. You got your episode 7. You got your last hurrah. And this is it! The most disappointing part about this film is that we had a writer that we trusted and a director who has no other film experience except one film underneath his credits. And also the fact is that, well, I really don't want to rant on the filmmakers because I know what it's like being a content creator behind the scenes. But I will admit, when it comes to these Texas Chainsaw Massacre documentaries, I have actually noticed one thing, is that the directors have all seemed to have one thing in common, and is that the studio always forces stuff on them. So it makes me wonder, is there a possibility that this Netflix film was forced on by the writer? Because I know Fabian Alvarez is way better than this. So it just makes me wonder if there's more than meets the eye. But coming from my eyes to a sequel that is connected to one of my all-time favorite slasher films, the original film made me jump. Like, I legit jumped out of the bed and landed on the hard wooden floor. But that's actually for another review. But for this film, I didn't jump once, and actually, well, hell, I actually turned the TV off, and I was like halfway through the movie, and I took a nap. Because it's just that damn boring. The only thing I can really say anything positive about this movie is maybe the violence and the gore, but then again, it's nothing new, but it is better than what everything else was shown here in this whole damn movie. Really, if I had a magic chainsaw that could just completely wipe out all these films, except the first film, from existence, I would. This franchise is pretty much hanging on for its dear life, trying to squeeze out every possibility to make a profit from audiences, but it's official. This series has run its course and is by far the worst film I have seen this year. It's a waste of your time, it's a waste of your life values, and you'll never look at chainsaws the same way again. Again. So for a final score, I'm going to give Texas Chainsaw Massacre a 0.5 out of 10. Just like everybody, I don't think we ever like to talk about bad movies, but for me as a critic, I have to live with both the good and the bad, and I have to talk about it because, heck, that's the job I pretty much have. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Look forward to more movie reviews to come along in the future. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe here to the channel for more content. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.